still very much like that in Arizona. We're still the clan mother system. And while we all come together and we vote like our tribal chief, he is actually selected. Our political system is the clans, and the mothers are the heads of the clans. So if you run into a situation where, you know, the peace chief is not keeping the peace so that the community can grow, it's a matter of like 13 days before he's gone. They just like pull him right out, and everybody goes and elects somebody new. So it's, we still have remnants. I'd like to say we have the whole scope of what once was, but we have the remnants of what once was with the women's way.
Those are the seeds.
Yes.
Those are seeds.
Yes. Yeah. So, and my granddaughter, my youngest granddaughter, she's 9 now, but when she was like 3, was my first book when it came out, because it was all the old stories, you know. And so she would go anytime people would come over to the house, and she would go grab the book off her daddy's desk, and she would pop it down into the lap, and she would slam her hand down on it, and she would look him straight in the eye, and she'd go, "This is important. This is my family, and you need to know this." And so I look at how these young women now are coming up and how they're being supported in who they are. And, you know, it's hard. It's hard. I think part of what has taken that away has been the transient lifestyle as well, because we no longer stay in our small clans. We're all scattered across the 4 directions. But in other aspects, that's exactly what's been prophesized, because it's about extended family now. How do we take that out and not just have it like in this little cluster of 13 families into everybody? Because that's how it was originally with the land, with the animals, with the sky nations. We were all family, and now it's a matter of understanding how to treat each other as family, but not that dynamic of the dysfunctional family that everybody has come to know. And I think that's at the heart of what the women hold, is that within us we still have that understanding. Even if we've been in all this dysfunction, which we all have, we still have that within us to put forward.
But I love what you said, Brooke, that with the women's movement, what that meant is that women had to become men.
Yes.
How did you phrase that? That they just had to...
Well, you know, it seems like because we were raised in a patriarchal, masculine culture, when we women stepped forward to take our power, it was like, hey, we're like the guys, you know, we get that kind of power. I used to actually say, we stick a tampon in and act like guys.
Yeah.
And that was not feminine power. The great mystery, the depth, the receptive nature, the magic, the touching into the great wisdom, the receptive, that active receptive energy that draws and brings in the vision. All of those things were not known. We hadn't been taught them. I hadn't been taught them. I think all of us as women I know one of my sadnesses is that I wasn't given those traditions. I would have loved to have the traditions of the moon time, of the all of the things that help us be wisdom women. One of the things in traditional culture is that as you came into your bleeding time, into your moon time, you did a vision quest of 4 days every month. So in 1 year you did 13 quests. 13 times you spent 4 days listening, deepening, listening to spirit, praying for the people. 26 in 2 years, 39 in 3 years. Many men vision quest 4 times in their lifetime. So that kind of tradition built incredible wisdom and connection with spirit.
Totally.
And so when we were grandmothers in those times, we had incredible depth. And it's sad to me that we haven't had that, but it's so important that we're bringing those traditions back so that the true feminine, the receptive, powerful, primal, nurturing womb of life is held in primary love again.
I'd like to speak about this. I came of age in the 60s during the whole psychedelic feminist movement. I was in college and was, I think, deluded You know, there were things we were working for that were really important. But I think on the other hand, we were being pushed towards leaving the home and taught to emulate men. And that's the way I was raised. Fortunately, I was given a number of fellowships from the government to go to India and live with my Guruji, Sitara Devi, who is a living embodiment of the feminine in all her aspects. Tantric practitioner and following the Shakta tradition of India, which has never strayed from the path of the feminine. And in that tradition, a woman is taught, well, young girls are taught to emulate different aspects of the feminine. So, depending on their nature. So if you have a very almost masculine power nature, you are trained to work with Durga or Kali, these wild aspects of the feminine, and they show you the right use of power. That's really to have clarity in the midst of chaos. And then if you're kind of, very sensuous, you're taught to emulate Lakshmi, who is the life-giving, preservative aspect, and showing you that the body is the alchemical vessel, the female body, because out a miracle occurs. And to understand the really sacred nature of sensuality. Actually, it was the women in these traditions who were the initiators into all the sexual mysteries, and the mysteries of birth and death and healing and all of. And then the women who had this very kind of subtle, soft energy were taught to embody Saraswati, or the Virgin is that same energy. And they became the natural healers. And so all of that was put in a context. And actually after that, once they were really learned that understanding of embodiment through yoga, through meditation, through so many different activities, then they could learn to embody the other aspects of the feminine. And so it gave one a really deep, deep sense of what it really means to be a woman on a very, very deeply spiritual level. Because, as she said to me, from their perspective, from the tantric perspective, everything, all of creation is the feminine, is Shakti. All of it, everything, our bodies, the world we see, it's all, we wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for the feminine.